Changes, changes, and more changes. That's the name of the game with Amazon Prime's adaptation of The Wheel of Time. Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite character changes that the show has made and why it rocks, so stick around. Before we go any further into the video, I do want to issue a spoiler warning. This video will contain spoilers for the books and for a specific character arc. So if you want to stay as fresh as possible, never readers, please come back and watch this video at a later date. This is so hard talking about this without massive spoilers. I want show watchers to watch my videos. With that warning out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into it. We all know that book-to-show adaptations make numerous changes and deviations to the source material so that things can flow better in the new medium. This often impacts specific plot points. However, because of this, many times our favorite, most beloved characters are directly affected by these. Fortunately, in Amazon's The Wheel of Time, our main cast is relatively unchanged. There are a few tweaks here and there just to kind of kickstart certain characters' plot lines and story arcs, but for the most part, the characters feel like the people that they are in the books. However, I think our side characters or second tier main characters are where the most impactful changes are going to occur. This is the perfect space for Amazon to spice things up and give us some new elements to some beloved characters. So far, we haven't had very many side characters introduced, but of the ones that have been introduced, my favorite changes so far are those affecting Tom. So, book readers all know that Tom was introduced relatively early on in the Eye of the World. He's actually in the village of Emond's Field, where our characters are from, as a Gleeman to perform for Beltane. Obviously, the show didn't think this was the best place for his introduction, and they moved him to being introduced in Brain Spring in episode 3. This has interesting implications because now this version of Tom doesn't know specific information that Book Tom did, such as who the boys were traveling with and why they were traveling with them. Not only did they change his introduction, but they've also changed Tom's entire demeanor. Tom in the books is a very flamboyant, acrobatic individual. You can walk into a room and know exactly where Tom Maryland is standing. Show Tom, however, is a little bit more grungy, a little bit more gruff. He's way more understated than his book counterpart. His entire demeanor also seems to be quite different. In the books, Tom is much more prone to dramatic outbursts and flamboyant flashes of his tricks and stories. However, in the show, we're seeing that while he lacks some of that flamboyancy, he does not lack any of the dramatic flair that is associated with his character. The second he walks into the tavern and picks up his guitar and begins his song, one can see instantly that Tom still has that dramatic air to him. He still is very much able to command a room with just his presence and his ability to either play an instrument or tell a story. These are key facets of Tom's character that I think the show is getting correct. Further, I think his introduction at this point is really going to help strengthen his relationship with Matt and Rand. These are the two characters that he has probably the strongest relationship with throughout the books, at least in terms of our main cast of Two Rivers folk. So I really think that this is probably the best spot for him to be introduced, especially getting him started off early with Matt as opposed to Rand. I think is going to have big payoffs later on. So book readers all know specific spoilery information about Tom that you show watchers may not know yet. I'm going to try to avoid talking about it. However, there is an element to Tom that I'm not sure is going to remain within the show. It very possibly could, but I think there are definitely hints of his possible previous occupation already within episode 3, so I'll let y'all kind of think about that. Basically, I just wanted to get up here and talk about how much I love this change, how much I love Alexander Williams' performance as Tom. Actually, I mean, when he got up and he sang that song on the guitar, it was just phenomenal. I am over the moon with this new rendition of Tom. I love Book Tom, don't get me wrong, he's fantastic. He's one of my favorite characters, like, for sure, but this new version of Tom is just so, there's a little bit something more here that I think the show's going to be able to get into, and I'm very excited about it. I'm like, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen. And I mean, like, how crazy is it for you non-book readers that me, someone who's read the series, you know, I'm on like a second full reread and I've read other like individual books multiple times, but like, how cool is it to hear me, a longtime fan, talking about like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, this is just amazing. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Go ahead and click the like button if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, hit the subscribe button, go down to the links below, check out my Patreon, lowest tier is only $1. Want to thank my high tier Patrons, Unraveling the Pattern, Dollars to Die, thank you so much. All my other patrons, I see you and I appreciate everything you do for me. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll tune in on Tuesday to the Inside the Wheel of Time after show hosted by the Dusty Wheel. I'm so happy for my friends getting to be on this show. Rhythm Critter and Daniel Green are also on it with Matt Hatch, the innkeeper, and it's just going to be, I think that's going to be awesome. So be sure to tune into that on Tuesday, and I will catch you all later.